All right, welcome back. Okay, so today I wanted to go over a supplemental pack that you can throw in your car or take hiking with you if you are going on a day hike and you get lost. Kind of what was going through my mind was you're on a day, like I live in Colorado, so you're on a day hike, you are, maybe it's like a 5, 6, 7 mile round trip, nothing huge. So what are you gonna take with you? Usually you just take like maybe a CamelBak, right? Well, what happens when you gotta get turned around? Maybe you didn't take a map with you, maybe you are relying on your cell phone and whatever app you're using doesn't work out that well. Well, something like this. So what I have here is a little fanny pack from Walmart, a couple bucks. I mean, it's just a cheapy outdoor products fanny pack, right? This weighs just over 3 pounds. It's 3.2 pounds. And what I have in it is just honestly completely emergency stuff that if you get turned around in the mountains and your phone lost signal, your app doesn't work, whatever, this is stuff that's going to keep you alive for 1, maybe 2 days, right? Obviously, when we're talking about all this stuff, knowledge is way more important than tools. So if you have the knowledge to survive, you're going to be able to survive. There was a story a few years back where this kid got caught in a snowstorm out in the mountains. He was a young kid, I believe a teenager, and he survived overnight in a blizzard in the Colorado mountains because he watched all the survival shows on TV. Survivor Man, the Bear Grylls, the Dual Survival, all that stuff. And he remembered all that stuff and he used it to stay alive. So this is completely emergency. Like I said, it weighs just over 3 pounds. It's something that you can throw like on your hip and you're probably not even gonna notice it if you're walking around. Now, before we get to this, these are a couple of my bags, right? So this is my normal, I'm going out for a few miles day hike bag, right? It's just a little Gregory Nano 18, right? It's got like water bullet and stuff. And this is what I would normally take. It's not that big. You can't put a whole bunch of stuff in it. But usually, if I'm gonna go out, I'm going to take this, and I'm gonna have a raincoat or whatever inside of it. I'm also gonna have a map, and I just keep my map in a little Magpul DACA bag. They're really water resistant, and you can throw your map, your paper, your pens, all that stuff in here, and it slides in there just in case, because you never know, right? Another thing, if you like I said, this has a water blivet in it, but let's say you don't have that, you can take any one of these guys, and almost everybody has these nowadays. The bad part about all of these things, even though they keep your water cold for a really long time, they're double walled, and you cannot put these on a fire to clean water, because if you put them on a fire and they're double walled, they will blow up. The air inside the 2 walls will heat up and then it'll blow up. So not a good idea. So if you have something like, this is a super cheapy plastic one. This is one of those, a protein shaker bottle, and this is just another bottle, right? You can actually put these on the fire and maybe suspend them from the fire, and you can boil water in these. Now, yes, they will distort, they will mess these up a little bit, but you can still boil water, especially in an emergency. So I always carry a map on me just for backup. I always have some sort of water collection, right? I may have my dog in my bag, or on my person I might have one of these guys, either like a Mora knife that has a fire starter in the handle, Mora knife that has a fire starter outside the handle, or a cheapy little Walmart knife, right? But it's a fixed blade and has a 90-degree spine, so you can use it with a ferrocerium rod, okay? Usually in my bag as well, I'm also going to have some sort of a headlamp. I may carry one of these, a Shmog, with me, right? These are awesome because they can be used for a multitude of different things. Obviously, you can put them around your head, around your neck to keep the sun off you. You can also use it as like a cravat if you have injuries. You can use it to get water. You can use it to filter water. You can cut it up and make char cloth. You can do all kinds of stuff with this. This is worth its tiny little weight in gold. Gloves, they may be in the bag, they may not be, kind of depending on the weather. But what I do know is if you are out there and you start processing things like processing firewood, breaking stuff down, climbing stuff, gloves are an excellent thing to have. If you don't carry a headlamp, right, some other options. You can buy one of these like little cheapy lights from Walmart. Few bucks, and it weighs like next to nothing. One of these little lights, like this little stream light, again weighs next to nothing. Or this is a 511, I can't remember what it's called, but it has a clip right here on the back, so you can put it like on your lapel or on your hair, or even, you know, you can clip it to your hat somehow, right? This is a little bit more expensive, but when you're out in the dark, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty stubborn. So if I'm gonna get lost, I'm not getting lost until it's really dark. I'm gonna keep walking around until I'm really lost. And that's when you're gonna actually need this stuff, right? You know, the great thing about these is they're hands-free. So you can still use your hands. Plus a lot of them have, like this one has a white light and a red light, and it also has a strobe, just to help signal, right? Another thing that you may or may not have in your bag is a GPS, right? This is a Garmin Fortrex, a little wrist GPS where you can, you know, we used to put them like on our weapons. A little compass right here, and if you do, like I have another compass in my, wherever it is. Yeah. So I have another compass in here, right? So I have a compass in here and a wrist compass right here. Both things work great if you know how to use a map, right? If again, more knowledge is better, right? Another thing, let's see. Okay, so like I said, this is the bag that normally goes on day hikes. If I were to make a survival emergency bag, it would be something like this. This is completely full of stuff and it weighs like 30 pounds. Are you gonna take that day hiking? No, you're not. Nobody's gonna do that. That's why 3 pounds, complete emergency, right? This is another bag that I have, a Mystery Ranch. And again, if you filled this all the way up, it'd be like 30, 40 pounds. But you're not gonna take that, right? You're gonna take something like this, and you're gonna throw your rain jacket in there, and maybe a candy bar, and your little water blivet, and that's about it, okay? But if you have something like this, and you tailor it to yourself and your own personal needs, then something like this can honestly be a lifesaver, right? The bad thing about something like this is it's really tiny. As you can tell, it's just a little bit bigger than my hand. And you can't put that much stuff in it. The good thing about this is it's small, it's tiny, and you can't put that much stuff in it. Because as I learned from many, many years of backpacking and being in the Army, if I have room, I'm gonna fill it up, all right? So let's break into this real quick and we'll see what we got. In the back pouch, right here, a little zipper, first thing you pull out is a rat's tourniquet, okay? And there's some controversy around this. It's actually really stupid. If you've ever used one of these or talked to anybody who has used one of these, they work, okay? If you don't think they work, you probably have no idea about medical stuff or what you're talking about. Anyway, rat's tourniquet. The reason why I brought a rat's is A, it's a lot smaller and it can fit in here. Number two, I also have a dog that I take with me. This can work on dogs. Cat's tourniquets cannot, okay? And again, all this is tailored to you. If you already have a tourniquet in your bag or a first aid kit in your bag, then you don't need to put it in here. Cordage. So this is the Titan survival cord. It's got like jute twine in there. It's got like a little wire in there for snares if you want it, stuff like that. But cordage is always good. Go to the outside pocket here. First thing we have is an emergency whistle, okay? Obviously that kind of goes without saying. A little multi-tool. This is a Gerber dime. Now, this is Again, a very, very small multi-tool. This is not meant to take place or replace something like this. They're completely different, used for completely different things. When you're lost and when you're out in the middle of nowhere and it's dark and it's scary, sometimes creature comforts can be your best friend. So something like a splinter can be like the worst thing in the world, and something like this can help you out, right? And the little mental battles will help a lot. In this bag, I feel that it's you can take those stuff out and put it on your person, right? So you can throw these in your pocket. You can throw something like this over your neck. This is a little Suto clipper compass. Again, just another little compass. If you have a little bit of a bearing of where you're at, it'll help you out. It's got 2 little lights on it. These are not meant to signal somebody from another ridge line. They're just meant for you to see around camp or walking around. Another thing we have, flagger's tape. When I was working in the logging industry, we used to use this to mark trees. I just ripped a bunch of it off, kind of folded on. What you can do is you can kind of mark your trail, or you can put this on a high stick, something like that, and put a couple of these on there. You know, the universal signal for distress is 3 things, right? 3 lines, 3 X's, 3 anything. Put 3 strips of this. If the wind blows, hopefully somebody will see it. If search and rescues out there, they know what that is. They know what they're looking for, okay? Let's see. Fresnel lens, this can be used for many different things. It can be used to start a fire. It can be used to, again, get like a splinter out or see what's going on with you. If you have anything wrong, blisters, anything like that, this can help that. This is a little signal mirror. If you're gonna get a signal mirror, if you go with the really cheapy ones, they don't work as well, and they can also scratch really easy. This is one of the thicker ones that doesn't scratch very much. Not only is it good for signaling, and God, I think there's some story out there like during the Civil War, right after the Civil War, they were using signal mirrors to signal each other for like 100 miles away, from like hilltop to hilltop. So these things work amazing if you have daylight out. You can also use this if you have wounds or need to mend something on your face. Maybe you got a stick to the eye or something like that. Speaking of which, I always have sunglasses on me, so I'm always gonna have that with me as well. And the watch that I carry on me, normally when I go out, I'll wear this Garmin watch, and it has a map as well and compass. So let's break into the main pocket. Okay, first things first, I have I think this is like $1 from Walmart, a little headlamp, right? And it is a cheap little headlamp, but again, this is an emergency kit. This is not something you're gonna use and take out all the time and actually go hiking with. Complete emergency. And if you're in an emergency and you need a headlamp, you're gonna be happy you have that. Waterproof bag, obviously, you could use it to get water or to store water, and a little flare. Flare is good for a whole bunch of stuff. If you're out, if you know anything about the mountains, snowstorms and rainstorms can come when you don't expect them at all. And if everything's wet and you need to start a fire, this will start a fire and it'll dry out your wood as well. It'll also signal for help, so that's good. And you can use the bag to get water. Speaking of water, this is a little mini survival straw. So if you come across a stream or a lake, you can just get it right out of there, or you can put water in there and use that to drink it. This again can go around your neck. This is a striker, and this is just full of fire starting equipment. So I have a little chunk of light my fire, I have some storm matches in there, and I have some fat wood in there. This container, I'm not sure it's 100% waterproof, but it's pretty watertight and it's not gonna go out on you. Along with this, I do have a ferrocerium rod. If you know how to just scrape the fat wood off and get a little bundle there, or if you know how to use the light by fire, you're gonna get a fire with that pretty easily. Okay, another pocket knife. Now this is not the greatest pocket knife in the world. This is actually a really old knife for me. I used it in the Army a lot. and it's good. It holds an edge. You can cut little stuff down with it if you have to. You can try batoning with it. This is more of a, you can use this, and the back is not the greatest for a fire starter, but it is a 90-degree edge, so if you lose your striker, you can still use this. But this is good for processing small piece of wood, getting splinters out, anything like that, or if you need to cut your cravat to do anything with that, you can use that as well. And a pocket knife is good for 1,000 other things I can't even think of right now. So food, right? You're lost, you're cold, you're hungry. You sit down and you need some shelter. This is gonna be really good for up here. Just a little bite of food, a little creature comfort for home. It's gonna, in your mind, it's gonna help you out a lot. A little bitty first aid kit. Now, in this first aid kit, this is, so every year we do a little shotgun thing for the Craig Hospital. They make those cool wheelchairs like that have tracks on them for wounded warriors and stuff. So they were giving out first aid kits one year when we went there. So this has got your chapstick, it's got some super glue, it's got band-aids, it's got Tylenol, it's got a bunch of little bitty stuff in there just for emergencies. I got a whole bunch, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that, but I got a whole bunch of duct tape or Gorilla Tape put on there. I also have some water purification tablets in there, and I have the instructions with them, because again, when you're tired, scared, hungry, it's easy to forget stuff. So if you're gonna forget stuff, the instructions are right there with you. I have a all-weather notepad and a Sharpie. This is awesome if you want to leave notes, like what direction you're going, things like that, how you're doing, how many people are in your party, if anybody's injured, anything like that. You can also take this if you need a splint. You can also take this, or a tourniquet, excuse me. If you need a tourniquet, you can take this and you can use it to make a makeshift tourniquet. Okay, so I got a couple Ziploc bags, just because they're super lightweight. They fit in almost anywhere, and you can use them to get water if you find water. I have a poncho. This is just a super cheapy, like a $1 poncho. And if you're trying to avoid being wet and trying to avoid hyperthermia, this is gonna save your life. Again, it's a super cheapy one. This is not a $1,000 bag. To be completely honest, most of this stuff is in the console of my truck, and I just took it out and put it in here. So a little space blanket. This is, again, not a super expensive one. You can use this for shelter. You can use it to wrap around you. It's really good for a lot of stuff. And then I have the last thing in here is one of those real thick 50-gallon trash bags. This could be a makeshift poncho if your poncho rips. You can use this for shelter. You can also put a bunch of debris in here and use it for a sleeping bag. Okay, so that's what's in there. That's everything that's in there, right? For me, I was thinking either a summer or a fall day hike. Got lost, got mixed up, kept walking because I'm a little stupid like that. I kept walking, all of a sudden it's dark, and now I really don't know where I'm at. Oh shit, what do I gotta do? This is what I'm gonna use, and I can survive off this for a couple days, okay? Now, some honorable mentions that didn't make it in here only because this was so tiny, okay? Honorable mention, 1, skeeter wipes. Now, again, creature comforts. If you've ever watched Naked and Afraid and you see all the bug bites those people go through, oh my God, it's so horrible. All they do is complain about the bugs. Something like this would just be a lifesaver out there. If you had a little bit bigger bag to put these in, or if you're in an area that has a lot of mosquitoes, right? These water tablets. So these are a hydration tablet, right? They have a bunch of electrolytes in there and they taste pretty good. So if you're getting water out of a creek or a stream and it tastes like crap because you put the little water pills in there, you could throw one of these in there. Not only is it going to give you the electrolytes you need, it's also going to make it taste a lot better. Any one of the flashlights that I talked about earlier, right? Anything like this you could throw in there. Again, this is all tailored to your needs. A mini GPS or a small GPS or a small map. You know, if you have a small map of your area, you throw that in there. some Purell hand sanitizer. Again, if you know, those creature comforts of just being clean is a great thing, right? So if you're kind of dirty, you can clean yourself up. Plus, you know, you can help start a fire with that. A pair of binos or a monocular. You can get to a high point and get to a vantage point. You can look and see where you're going, where you need to go. You can also look for search and rescue. Tissues. As you can see, I didn't have any wet wipes in here, right? Usually I'll have wet wipes in my bag. So if you don't have wet wipes in your bag, you know, tissues, if you do have to go to the bathroom, or again, a fire starter, or if you just need to blow your nose. One of these guys, they're lightweight, they're fairly cheap. You just kind of turn this, right, to power it up. And then it's got AM, FM, and then an SOS signal and a strobe on here, right? And this is also a flashlight. Again, creature comfort. If you want to listen to radio, you can turn the radio on. It has a strobe and an SOS where it just beeps all the time. If you know, hear anybody getting near or hear other hikers or anything like that, that'll help you out. If you did not bring a water blivet with you, or you didn't bring any water, if you were to bring something like this, either a little Altoids can or a little bit bigger can, I mean, if worst comes to worst, you can get a little bit of water in there. You can boil your water on a fire, and then you can drink that. Also, these can be used for char cloth, if you know how to make that. And again, all this stuff is just tailored to your needs. If you always have a map and compass in there, if you always have a GPS, if you always have extra water, if you always have this, then this little thing can be really small. It can be just a little shelter, right? If you're one of the people that, I know a lot of people that just go out to the woods and basically just have their cell phone and a bottle of water. If you're like that, and then you trip and fall, you sprain your ankle, you break a leg, you know, want to go get a cool picture, and then you turn around and you don't know where the hell you're at. That can happen to anybody. Hopefully you told somebody where you're going. Hopefully you told somebody when you're going to be back, and they know that if you're not back at a certain time, they need to call somebody to go help you, right? As a police officer, I was helping search and rescue a lot, and they know how to look for sign, right? They know how to look for broken tree branches. They know how to, if you know, have a Sharpie and there's a tree, like a pine tree or aspen trees are great, and you write on there and you write an arrow in the direction you're going. You know, once you realize you're lost, you break a bunch of twigs, let them know, hey, this is my area, and you know, this is the direction that I'm going. If you make some distress signals, like I said, they come in threes, right? SOS. If anything like that, search and rescue are trained to look for all that stuff. And anything like that can help you, it'll be great. Obviously with this, you know, this shelter I have, you know, cordage is a big deal. Cordage can do a whole bunch of stuff. So I highly suggest that. I highly suggest some sort of a shelter. If you don't want a trash bag, then, you know, store a little tarp in there, you know, something, right? But this is just a quick kit that I put together, like I said, mostly from the console of my truck, that you can take out there, and it's just an emergency kit. And if you have a dog, Freya, come here. And if you do have a dog, make sure that you bring enough dog food for your puppy too, because you don't want them going hungry, all right? So with all this in mind, ask yourself, are you an asset or a liability? Can I help you? Can you help yourself, I guess? Yeah? All right. Hey. Hi. Hi. Hi.